Welcome to the Rock Fight, where we speak our truth, slay sacred cows, and sometimes agree to disagree. This is an outdoor podcast that aims for the head. I'm Colin True, and joining me today, it might be Earth Day to everyone else, but he's here to celebrate the 200th episode of the Rock Fight. It's Justin Hausman!
Wow, is it really?
Yeah, this is our 200th episode.
I love that you don't tell me these things until the show actually happens.
Gotta have some surprises.
That's a lot. That seems like a lot. That's great. It's funny because you listen to podcasts that you like, and they'll be like, episode 682, and you're like, how the hell did they do that? But it doesn't feel. I mean, obviously, I haven't been on all of them, but I'm surprised it's already 200.
Well, I mean, the way the new format's going, you're ticking up though, buddy.
That's true.
You're on a fair amount of these.
Yeah, we should actually count. I would be curious. Does this actually drop on Earth Day? It does. That's right.
Yeah. Earth Day is also known as the Rock Fight's 200th episode day. So it's all been leading to this.
The universe works in such weird ways, doesn't it?
Right?
Hey, that means tomorrow's 420. What are your plans?
That is true. It is tomorrow. It's 420. That's right.
We're recording this on the 19th.
That's right. I'm going to a horse show to watch my kid ride horses.
Classic.
I will not be high.
No.
You?
Hopefully, no, probably not. I just remember just now. I used to live like 3 blocks from Golden Gate Park when I lived in San Francisco, and 420 is a pretty big deal there. And it was easily the most annoying of all the things that would shut down Golden Gate Park.
Yeah.
Because there's stuff a few times during the year, but like that one was particularly bad. just like stoned people everywhere, and like traffic kind of snarling, and I don't know, that one bothered. That one kind of was annoying.
Well, today we are going to run through some of the more notable or exciting headlines that come out of the outdoor industry and community. But before we get to that, a few listener reminders. The Rock Fight, guys, it's growing at an incredible rate. This last month has been huge. So with so many new listeners, and if you're one of those new listeners, please listen to the show and follow the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or wherever you hear us. Just please click follow. We really want to get those follows up. It really helps the show. You probably found the show because some other sweet soul clicked follow. So, be that sweet soul for someone else. And then head over to rockfight.co and sign up for our newsletter. I mean, it's a good newsletter.
It's a good newsletter. I have nothing to do with it, but it's a good newsletter. It really is.
That's even higher praise. Thanks, man.
It's true.
What's good about it?
It's fun to read.
Give me more.
It's fun to read. I like I love the little history, the S-News history. The snooze history is always good. That's in the newsletter, right?
Yeah.
I just always enjoy reading it.
Thanks, man. As someone who writes a newsletter, it's good. That's a big deal.
It's good. It's what you want in a newsletter. It's fun. It's like a nice little, oh, cool, this arrived today, which is really, that's what you want in a newsletter.
Lastly, we love hearing from our listeners. We want your suggestions for what Justin can do next weekend. We're about to hear what he's going to do for this weekend, but we want to hear what you think Justin should do next weekend. So this is your opportunity, folks. Send what you think Justin should do next weekend to myrockfight@gmail.com. We'll see. I'm sure we'll get a few responses. We'll probably just wait till we get some really good responses. Might be a few weeks before you hear those, but if not, we'll start it next week. Hopefully we hear from you.
And really anything's on the table. I mean, I'm probably not going to do anything that's suggested because that's just how I am. But, nudity, that's fine if you want. Just, I don't know.
Celebrate 420 a week late at Golden Gate Hill,
Yeah. Whatever just
let's hear solo with
let's hear them. If I do it, maybe I'll, whatever it is, maybe I'll take a picture. We'll put it in the newsletter or something like that.
That's a great idea. That could become a segment in the newsletter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So as we just talked about, we are recording this on Friday, April 18th. You're listening to it on Earth Day.
It's Friday, April 19th, Colin.
Oh, my God. I wrote this yesterday. Damn it. Yes, Friday, April 19th. You're hearing it on Monday, April 22nd. Happy Earth Day. And that means that in between, we had ourselves a weekend. I didn't take out the joke from like 4 weeks ago.
No.
That also means it's time for America's favorite podcast segment. What is Justin doing this weekend? Presented by Long Weekend Coffee. Thank you. Oh, thanks, buddy.
Just editing out Colin.
It's a lot of copying and pasting in these outlines,
Sorry, this drives me nuts.
This weekend, Justin will be editing all the Rock Fights outlines.
Yeah. All right, I'm done.
All right, so Justin, what are you up to this weekend?
Okay, so this is Sea Otter weekend, everyone. So if you're not familiar, it's like a huge mountain bike trade show down in Monterey. I can't go for various reasons. It's happening right now. People are having a blast, I'm sure. I've never actually been.
Neither have I. Yeah.
Part of the reason is because it's like an annoying distance. Like if it was an hour away, I would go, but it's like 2 hours away, which is a terrible distance because it's like I don't want to drive 4 hours in a day to go down there and come home. I don't really have any reason to spend the night. Anyway, I've never been. But I feel some FOMO as you know, like if Gordon's there and everybody else is there, like I feel
Sure.
some FOMO. So I'm gonna start my own festival this weekend, Colin.
You're just starting a festival?
Yeah, it's the River Otter Festival because we have river otters here. We don't have sea otters because there's no beach here, but we do have river otters just down the street in my little creek. So you know, I'm gonna just set up some bikes and some tables and maybe there'll be some river otters. I don't know, but if anybody wants to join me, you know, like I have my little trade show. That's what I'm gonna do.
What's the current water temp you think of your creek?
The little creek. Good question. Cold. I don't know.
Pretty chilly.
60 at the highest.
So you could throw on like a wetsuit and float around in an inner tube for river
absolutely.
Otter, right?
Yeah, there's a swimming hole right down the street, like kids swim in it. But yeah, I haven't yet floated in it, which is weird, but I should. Maybe I'll do that. That'll be part of it. Yeah, come down, have a float, get an inner tube. It's perfectly legal. No one's gonna stop you. It's a beautiful little swimming hole, and so that's gonna be my own little festival, and then I'm not gonna feel left out from Sea Otter. And then maybe next year you'll come, and then other people will come, and it'll be a huge thing. I mean,
River Otter Fest,
right? Doesn't that sound nice?
Yeah,
yeah. River Otters are great.
I'm with you on Sea Otter. For the bike community, it's huge. I mean, and there's always like races and stuff like that. And if you're a really big cycling enthusiast, I would see why you'd want to go. And as much as I love riding bikes, I don't really feel like standing around and watching a bike race. I mean, I would. It's not that I'm opposed to it, but it's a long way for me to go to do that at this thing. And for you, exactly, it's that exact wrong distance where it's like, you can still drive home at the end of the day, and you'd rather be a little bit further, so you have to get a hotel or camp
like
or whatever.
You can camp there, and I probably would have had I like sort of made for the ranges. But it's also very much a trade show, so it's it's like people are making deals, and there's all these like I don't really need to see like 45 different booths where it's like here's our fancy new headset. I love bikes, but I'm not that into like the components and stuff.
I saw somebody post on Instagram this morning. Did Kona set up and then break down? Did you hear about this?
I actually wanted to talk about that. I completely forgot. I wanted to bring that up.
Do we know anything what happened? Did they file for bankruptcy while at Sea Otter?
Maybe like there was supposed to be like an all hands meeting like yesterday. But I haven't seen anything. I'm looking at Bicycle Retailer right now. No, there's nothing has been updated. Yeah, how crazy is that?
What was the report from Bicycle Retailer?
Basically, that they set up their tent, they set up everything. They had like, I think they had like a little come see us, like get a free bike, like or whatever. Like we'll do a raffle.
They were running some sort of promo, like almost like the same promo because they're the ones who had the BOGO. They were running a BOGO at the end of the year. Yeah,
right. And so, other sources confirmed the CEO of Kent Outdoors that owns Kona. They called the employees of Monterey, told them to break down the display and not have any presence at the expo. And then yesterday, there was supposedly a company town hall meeting, but nobody knew what it was going to be about. No one, and I haven't heard anything since.
Wow, man, this might be the end of Kona bikes. That'd be crazy.
I mean, I don't know what else it would be.
Yeah, what else could it be? I mean, it's like they're telling you to shut down at a trade show.
Yeah, that seems.
You would
bad.
think if it was something else, they'd at least be like, all right, just run out the weekend. Like take off the promo, whatever. Like, what were the reason? But why would they like? No, tear it down. Like we shouldn't have let you go in the first place.
That seems weird. Also, it's like, I guess if you're, I mean, like the that's real bad PR. So it just seems like there's not really an upside to that. Oh, you know what? I bet they're coming to River Otter.
Fuck! Why didn't we think of that?
I bet they're coming to River Otter.
Who's at your door?
Yeah.
Oh my God! It's the Kona folks.
There's been a huge truck parked in front of my house for a while. That's it. They're coming to River Otter 2024.
They're going to debut their new river bike.
Oh my gosh.
I do. Have you worked many trade shows? You've always been there at more of a press capacity.
I've never worked at a trade show ever in my life. Yeah.
I feel for the people who are there for Kona because like it's a gnarly kind of heavy lifting job to like get things set. Even in a small presence, it's just like it's weekend away. It's hotels. It's setting up things that don't always piece together right. How do you make it look good? How's it merchandised? There's a plan beforehand that doesn't always get executed on site. And then to kind of be there and then I get the word like, yeah, well, I mean, even if they're not going out of business, I feel for the people who work for Kona who are in Monterey right now. That sucks. That's a terrible position to be in.
Well, I think at least a couple of I think that article I was just quoting from, I think there might have been like one or two things where some of the higher ups were like, well, we're in Monterey. I'm going to hang out, at least. But
I guess that's the other side. If I were one of them and the word was, we're like going out of business, I'd be like, hey, great, all your shit's over there. I'll see you later. I'm gonna go hang out in Monterey.
At least there's other bike brands around. Hey, what are you guys doing? Specialized? How you doing?
Yeah. Well, what Justin is doing this weekend is presented by Long Weekend Coffee. If you want to start off your days and adventures and all of your weekends the right way, you head to longweekend.coffee. Get a batch of beans. We love the secret handshake here on The Rock Fight. And then at checkout, you enter the promo code ROCK10 to get 10% off of your first order. Long Weekend Coffee, more weekend, please. Before we get into headlines, I got I have a trivia contest for you.
Oh, great. Okay.
You excited?
I'm excited.
This is Earth Day trivia.
Oh, no. Okay.
I figured, okay, Justin's going to know these. I found 50 Earth Day trivia questions, and I picked 6 of them.
About Earth Day itself?
This is about Earth Day.
Oh,
and some that are Earth Day adjacent. I mean, to get 50 was
I might not get any, but go ahead. Let's go.
What do you think? So I got 6 questions. What's the over-under on how many you get right? 2.5?
Yeah.
What would you take the over?
I think I'm going to take the under, actually. But let's see.
so less than 2.5 of the 6 questions?
Yeah. All
right, the first one's, I think I would have gotten this right, or I would have gotten very close. So I think maybe we'll go Price is Right rules on this one, closest retail price.
But I can't go over? Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
when was the first Earth Day? What year?
Yeah, see, that's such a hard question.
I'll give you a 2-year buffer on either side.
78.
Okay, well, 6-year buffer. 1970.
Okay, all right. I mean,
You're
I knew
in the
the
right
decade.
decade.
Yeah, I knew it was
Yeah.
in the 70s, but yeah, I mean, that's a hard one.
Okay, I'll give you some hints on this one. Which Hollywood actors spoke to crowds in Union Square in New York City on the first Earth Day? There's one man, one woman.
Jane Fonda.
See, that's what I would have said. It was
Okay.
Ally
All
McGraw.
right.
I'm just going to tell you it's Ally McGraw.
I don't know who that is.
Exactly. I couldn't even pick her out of a lineup. Okay, you definitely know who the other guy is. And the hint I'll give you is he acted alongside a famous actor that we covered in one of our movie reviews. And this is
But he wasn't in the movie itself.
He wasn't in the movie, but he was in other movies with this actor. And
Paul Newman.
bam, there it is.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
That makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I was like, oh, wait. I was like, he was in Jeremiah Johnson. Oh, no, he wasn't.
Well, I would guess I was going to guess Robert Redford. So
I think that would have been a good guess. That would have been a totally
Yeah.
fair guess, right?
Yeah,
Given his
yeah.
history of everything right there. Okay, this was a really weirdly worded question, but I think we'll get it. I copied and pasted. This is not me, using my ability to fuck up a sentence, which we all know is well documented. A single tree produces enough air
Oh, Jesus.
to supply in its lifetime for how many people in a year? It's, again, really poorly worded. So a single tree produces enough air for how many people and over the course of a year?
Oh, man.
I'll tell you it's less than 10. I'll go less than 10.
Really? Okay. I would say also surely that's dependent on the tree, right?
Right. What's this, like a sequoia versus like a little sapling?
Yeah,
or
like these
something,
little
right?
tiny maples in my front yard.
I'm sure there's an average
Okay,
here, right?
okay, hold on. One tree over its lifetime?
Over
you
its
said,
lifetime.
produces enough air for how many people to breathe in a year?
Right.
Okay. I mean, I would have thought it was way more than 10. So
Me too.
At this point now, I'm just wildly guessing.
Now I'm going to start planting trees on the weekend now that I know this number. We
I
need
don't know,
more
5?
trees.
5?
4. Yeah, 4.
Wow. I would have thought
Right?
it was more.
I would have said like 27 or something. I would like, wow, 4. So we need more trees.
We need more trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good one. What American river caught fire in 1969?
Cuyahoga.
Yeah. Could follow up
What is it called? I don't know.
Cuyahoga. Cuyahoga River.
All right.
Yeah.
I was gibberish on purpose because I don't know how to pronounce it, but okay.
There is a song that
pretty
plays
close.
during the opening credits of a movie you have definitely seen that references this event. Can you name the movie or the song?
I've heard of this.
Oh, you definitely know this.
I won't be able to guess, but
The
I've
movie's
heard.
on
I
one
know
of
what
your
you're talking
favorite
about.
things in the world.
It's on one of my favorite things in the world.
It's about one of your favorite
Fly
things
fishing?
in the world. No, that's a good guess though. It's not a
Well,
river.
it's a river. It's not a river. It's
There's
not
a movie
river
about the
related.
Cuyahoga and a river.
Well, it's not about surfing.
Nope.
The Dodgers.
What?
It's about baseball. Is it Field of Dreams?
No.
No. What other? The Natural? No. Wait, what? What is it?
Major League.
Major League. What's the song?
That's
What's
the Randy
song?
Newman song that plays over the opening credits.
So is it even a famous song, or did he write it for Major League?
He wrote it for Major League, but I mean, he plays over the opening credits
You
where
know,
they're panning
I-
all over Cleveland.
I mean, I love Major League. I don't know that I haven't pressed play on that movie in a long time where I'd see it from the beginning.
All right, we got 2 more trivia questions and we can move on. Ready?
Okay.
All right, April 22nd, which is today's date because it's Monday, April 22nd, is the birth date of which famous conservationist?
Oh. Is this why it's Earth Day?
I'm sure it's in a reason.
Is it Rachel Carson?
Nope.
Okay, hold on.
You know who this person is.
I do.
Yeah.
Are
Not
they alive?
personally. No.
Is it Aldo Leopold?
Nope. There's a really obvious answer here.
But they're not alive.
Not alive.
It's not John Muir.
It is.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that. That's got to be.
Yeah, I'm sure that plays into
why
it.
They picked that day. Yeah.
All right, lastly, what is the theme of Earth Day 2024?
There's a theme?
Yeah, I didn't know we had themes. I thought it was his Earth Day.
I don't know.
Planet versus plastics.
That's not a good theme.
Yeah, it's bad. They did it bad. We need to go back to the creative table.
All right, so what, I got 2?
Yeah, we'll give you 2. Yeah.
I took the under. Yes.
All right, well, let's get into some headlines.
Let's do it.
All right, so according to SGB, Crocs Incorporated has appointed...
Do we know what that stands for?
Sporting Goods Business.
We do know what it stands for. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Continue.
So Crocs Incorporated has appointed Terrence Riley as the incoming executive vice president and president for the HeyDude brand. Since 2020, he has held the president role at Stanley, where he was credited with creating and leading the strategy that propelled the brand's resurgence into a drinkware icon, at least a current drinkware icon. Prior to Stanley, Riley served in the marketing leadership at Crocs from 2013 to 2020. So first of all, on this, a couple things I want to talk about this with you. The first one is, is there a guy with better timing?
No.
He's like, now is the right time to leave Stanley. The descent has probably begun, right?
Yeah. Probably that makes total sense. I need to know what brand is he? What is this brand?
HeyDudes.
What is that?
Oh, Google it. I want to see your face.
Wasn't that a show on Nickelodeon?
I think was it? No, was it?
HeyDude.
I feel like it. That sounds like it was. It's a footwear brand that Crocs acquired, and the folks over at Sanuk want to have a word.
They sure do. It's a
$1 billion brand.
HeyDude is $1 billion brand.
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
So they make loafers.
Not even good ones.
Foam loafers.
Yeah, $949 million in 2023.
I've never heard of this brand.
On the Stanley front, though, so great timing leaving. Who's the poor bastard that's going to land in the Stanley seat? Right now, somebody out there is like, oh my God, I got the job at Stanley. I'm so excited. And it's going to be nothing but bad times for the next 5 years.
Make a bigger mug.
Yeah.
Can we make a bigger one? Like a backpack. When you go to a baseball game and it's cold and they have or probably just football games, they have like the hot chocolate backpacks.
Sure, yeah.
Stanley.
That's what's going to happen.
Stanley backpack. Just a giant metal cup on your back.
All right, well, next story we have is, per the Daily, the North Face and Icebreaker have collaborated on a merino blend capsule for spring-summer 2024. Collection's made from fabric that is 100% plastic-free. Neil Baker, who's the Senior Global Creative Director at Icebreaker, had this to say. He said, in collaborating with the North Face, we crafted a collection where sustainable innovation meets timeless design. You can tell this guy's a creative director. Our natural fibers seamlessly blend style with function, empowering adventurers to connect with the great outdoors in comfort and harmony. Man, that's quite the quote there, Neil Baker. Yeah, take a look at the collection. So this is it kind of dovetails into the next thing we're going to talk about, but it's a weird thing to me because this seems so obvious of like VF owns both brands, which they do. And it's sort of like, let's tag, Icebreaker onto the North Face and get a little attention for Icebreaker. Because mostly it just looks like something you'd seen from Smartwool or Icebreaker when you look at the products. Are you looking at it right now?
Yeah, and I'm having a not the most pleasant reaction.
It's a little prison garby,
It's not even that. Honestly, like the shirts are fine. The zip hoodie is great. I'm sure that's really comfortable. I would wear that. But then you get to the shorts. Are you looking at the shorts?
The men's merino blend, the North Face Icebreaker shorts for $170.
Yeah, can we talk about the picture, Colin? Like, are we? This is what we're doing now. This is what people are wearing now. Does this not look ridiculous to you?
They look too long.
Well, they look like this. Looks like a. How do you describe this? He looks like someone making fun of their dad in the '90s. Like ankle socks, like white-ish.
Yeah, they did not dress the model very well.
A belt with shorts with a shirt tucked into it. Who dresses? Is that what kids are?
Bad.
Kids are wearing that though. I think probably.
They probably are, but it doesn't. I'm sure there was a way to shoot that where it looks fine for a product catalog such as this. This looks like you just took a picture, like you said, of your dad and you just cropped the top half of him off.
I think I honestly thought normcore was going to be a phase that was going to leave, but it is not.
Yeah.
Like this is clearly like what kids are into, and this is wild. These models are too old to dress like this.
Yeah.
Like that's that, folks. I'm sorry. We got a shirt tucked into shorts with a belt on.
It's really bad.
Who does that? Unless
And it's
you're playing
$170.
golf. That's just $170. Probably look. You know what? I will say, shorts look really comfortable. I mean, if you had like a t-shirt and like sandals, heck yeah, I'm sure the shorts are great.
It's super expensive, and look, you and I both love merino.
$170 for a pair of shorts. Is that what it's going to cost now to have things that aren't full of plastic?
Well,
is that what the story is?
I don't know.
Like,
It's a.
But like, who would wear this to the outdoor? These are not things I would wear outside. I wouldn't want to get any of this stuff dirty.
I just look at this. This is only available online. It's not, the product doesn't look that good. I get, if I'm the owner of, if I'm VF, it's like, how do we kind of leverage our brands to help elevate them? But now I've got $200, not even dad shorts, like granddad shorts. Like those are like, something you're wearing at the retirement home. It just kind of feels like a big swing and a miss. And then ultimately we're going to find this stuff on Sierra in a couple of months.
In Sierra, in their 26 brick and mortar stores.
Yeah, Sierra, and I was like, oh, sweet, we could open a 30th store this year.
I don't know. I mean, I like icebreaker stuff a lot.
Me too.
But I don't know. I don't know what's going on in fashion. Like I guess it's because I'm old. But I mean, that happened quickly where it was like, oh, is that what people are wearing? Like I just have no idea. I would never see if someone walked around wearing this, I'd be like, what?
But this is objectively bland. Like, I expected to be able to see a little more North Face in this. Like, this just feels like baggy merino shit, and that's okay. I'm here for the 100% plastic free part of it. That's great. Yeah,
but but why couldn't that be in something that you actually like? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but it's on. I don't know. They presumably have a giant marketing program. Like maybe the people that are the most interested in plastic free stuff are also interested in not particularly going outside. Apparently, because these are very pale models.
They are very pale. Add a little Photoshop, add a little, or don't just go with pasty white people.
But nothing about this suggests going outside. Nothing
suggests going outside. And I think it's a big swing and a miss because, give yourself a piece of credit here. Give yourself some credit here because you're the demo for this. You and I both are, right?
I would think
$200 garments that are out that are from outdoor brands. Older middle-aged people with disposable income. This is who this is aimed at.
So
neither one of us wants this thing.
Merino makes a ton of sense in underwear and t-shirts, but not shorts. That's I'm going to get that cut on a bramble or whatever. I'm going to rub up against a tree. It's going to ruin that. That doesn't make any sense.
It's going to snag on the Yeti cooler at that barbecue I'm at because that's apparently what this guy's doing when they have that picture taken of him.
Yeah. I mean, they'd be great at the mall or whatever we call these now. Awesome. Go to some Orange County outdoor mall. Yeah, it'd probably be really good to wear these merino shorts. But no, I would not hike in any of this stuff.
I was kind of hoping that I'd look at this collection and be like, oh, that shit's dope. I really want that. And I think you and I being their target audience for something like this, just on that end alone, we could talk about where it's rolled out, why they're doing it. To your point, the performance of it. When you're doing something like this, you have two people like you and I, two white guys who, have some means to be able to say, look at this and be like, I'm not into that. That's kind of all right there. That's a problem. So
I would think, but I don't think that we're the target. We don't own Rivians.
That's true. All right. Well, kind of the big story of the week we wanted to talk about was Patagonia earlier this week rolled out a new campaign called "Fashion is None of Our Business." We'll play on words there. You thought we were going to say none of your business. We said none of our business.
Yes.
As a copywriter, tell me about. No, I'm just kidding. But the
it's a great line.
That's a good one. All right. Along with that came a video invoking the brand's heritage and their stance that they're in business to save the planet. So Patagonia is basically doubling down on their message that what they make is justified by its longevity and purpose, and that's what separates them from fashion brands who are making more stuff than the world can handle. Patagonia gets a lot of credit for what they do. I want to kind of preface everything I'm saying, and a lot of what I know about Patagonia is from working with Patagonia when I was working at a textile manufacturer. And they deserve all the credit they get because they do things the best. The only other brand you can really kind of rank above Patagonia, I feel like, in terms of their commitment and how they make things and their presence in the marketplace and the messaging out there could be Houdini.
Yeah.
On the product side, in terms of where they put their money after the fact, I'm sure Patagonia is outmatched. I mean, it has outmatched everybody else. There's no one doing it better.
Correct. I think that's true.
I think though this feels like a bridge too far. You're telling me that everything has a purpose, that you're making stuff that is based on longevity. You should choose our brand over other brands. And if you go look around the website, you click on men's tops, there's like 166 like crew necks or different men's tops. There's a lot of stuff. And I have a tough time kind of squaring the message with what I actually see them making. I don't know. What was your experience kind of watching this video?
Do you remember this term? And I'll look it up if you can't remember it. You don't hear it that much anymore. It was really popular like 5 years ago. Altruistic something or other, and it was like rich guys who were like, "I'm going to make $1 billion so that I can give all my money away."
Was this like what Allbirds was?
No, more like these are more like Silicon Valley, like philosopher startup people, and they were like, the whole point of me making a ton of money, altruistic empathy, it was like to make a huge amount of money so that I can like donate it to really good causes.
Altruistic investing? Yeah, what's good got to do with it? That's an article from The Street in 2015.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. But there's a very specific term, altruistic something, like that was like a philosophy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what sort of, in some ways, this feels like to me a little bit. So here's the thing. I don't understand enough about capitalism or how you make money as a clothes company at all. Like, I just don't, like, I don't know why, like, at a certain point, Patagonia has grown to $1 billion company and has tens of thousands of employees, when like that seems like what Yvon Chouinard did not want to do, like
right.
Starting out, right? So, but they give hundreds of millions of dollars away like every year.
Yep.
They are really important in access to land, in actually more than that. Like they have their like, they're working all over the world on clean water initiatives and reforesting initiatives and all these sorts of things that like could not probably happen without that money. And so I think I understand. I think I get it. Like I do think I get it. And but again, I don't know. Like I just don't like what would happen if they scaled way back on their production? Like I don't know. Maybe they can't. Maybe they go away. And like then you lose this like giant force for doing things the right. I mean, what other brand would you say? You just said Houdini, but they're tiny compared to Patagonia. So like, what other brand would even like? Who would step up? There's not like another obvious choice.
Yeah,
like another brand who's like nipping at their heels in terms of doing things like quote unquote the right way. So I get it. I get the sort of consternation that people might have. I mean, I read Kyle's piece in the Mountain Gazette newsletter, and he's not wrong about any of that, but it's also like, I don't know, like, what do you want? Like, do you just not want them to exist? Like, do you just want them to only make like climbing equipment and like, that's it? I mean, I don't know. It just seems like they do a lot of good, and their stuff is pretty good. Like it's about as, if you have something that's from Patagonia, it's going to be as good as anything else you've ever had. And they do care a lot. I mean, their wetsuit program is a good example. Like, they help pioneer like Ulex rubber, and they help pioneer like fixing all your stuff, fixing your wetsuits. I mean, their workwear program is really cool. I mean, I guess I feel like I don't feel like there's anything false or fake or swindly or anything like this in what they do. I mean, you can disagree with the size of the brand, you can disagree with the size of the company, and I get that. But I think that and like fashion is none of our business is kind of a funny. I mean, it's a great line. It's obviously not true. I mean, they make stuff that they think looks good. I mean, like that's obvious. It is
a
good
top 10
line.
fashion brand in the world.
Yeah,
and I'm saying that ironically. Like if people name 10 brands that you like to wear stuff from, not outdoor related, Patagonia is going to get mentioned.
Yeah, I mean it's a great line. I mean, their aesthetic is very cool. So that's obviously not the case, but I get what they really mean. Fast fashion is not their business. Like they're not making things just to make like splashy cool like clothes or whatever. So I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I can understand why it would bother you or Kyle or other people.
Yeah,
I think I'm not saying it does bother you, but I can see how it can rankle.
And this is why I kind of led with it's complicated, right? I think that's kind of because of all the things you just laid out that they do well. I just can't really square the we're in business to save the planet mantra. Right. And the amount of stuff that they're making. I mean, I did this before. I threw it in our outline, right? I mean, so to make $1 billion, if you at an average selling price of $100, which I feel like is fair in this case, given like from everything from a hat to like a $300 or $400 jacket, that's 10 million items you got to produce to make $1 billion in a year. Mm-hmm. That 10 million. That's for the first billion. Right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. Now, their former tagline was build the best product. Do no unnecessary harm to the planet. That felt to me very honest. I'm like, hey man, we're making stuff. We're a for-profit enterprise. We're going to do it the best way possible.
Well, I think their argument, what I would assume their argument would be, what Yvonne's argument would probably be is you're right, but at a certain point, we realize that we're so big and potentially so influential that like the more we sell, the more we can like give back.
Well,
so,
and
like,
that's where
and that's what my altruistic sort of thing is coming in, like where it's like, okay, we really are in business to save our home planet. We don't need to make any more money. Like we're huge. Like the Chouinards are never. I mean, obviously, like very wealthy people. Like we don't need to worry about this anymore. We don't need to be in business for ourselves anymore. We're in business to funnel this money back into like really good causes. So like that's what I would assume would be the argument.
But at some point, you become the thing you're fighting against, right? And that's what I feels like this to me, where it's like, you know, the war, we have been so conditioned to consume, and Shein and fast fashion brands do continue to grow at this sort of exponential rate with no repercussions. And basically this is saying, hey, buy our stuff instead of their stuff. Now, you should if you're going to buy something. But I think the best thing they ever said and did is the thing that they continue to harp on, look back on, and point to is the "Don't buy this jacket" ad campaign. That is the first time, and the only time, as far as I know, that anybody has ever said that. Right? Don't buy this unless you really need it. That should be the message, not, hey, our stuff is better than the other stuff. We make millions of things too, but you should buy our things and not theirs.
Yeah, I get that. I guess I would say that I don't feel like we're in business to save our home planet is entirely disingenuous in the sense that if Patagonia was gone, again, it also depends on what your main concern is. Like, is your main concern the production of things? Is your main concern fueling people's like need to acquire things? Is your main concern carbon emissions? Is your main concern clean water? You know, these things are unfortunately like they don't always match up, and so you know if you were to point out like an evil in the world that you want to fix, and it's people feeling the need to buy things, then of course this is going to not square with that.
Right.
But if your thing is like what we need to do is get way more people on board with like a lot of horrible shit that's going on and protect a whole lot more places, and the best way for us to do that is to build a really big brand that spreads awareness and that like raises a bunch of money for these sorts of things, then like selling a lot more stuff makes a lot of sense. So it really just depends on where you stand on that sort of issue. So I don't think it's black and white.
It's not black. You're absolutely right. It's not black and white. And this is what we talk about on our Gear and Pure episodes all the time. Like our pal Tacoma Phil wrote in to be like, hey, isn't the best thing for your stuffometer to say always be zero because we shouldn't be making anything?
Sure, but then you live in like communist China.
Well, and that's it. I think like I don't think we should be striving to we don't make anything. I think that's unrealistic. Number one. I think number two, like we are already kind of locked into this sort of financial model. We have to. How do we work within it to do it better? That's a better, right? Yeah. I still clearly. I mean, I think you're the best example of this as someone who has been reviewing gear for a long time. Yet you have very liberal tendencies and definitely tend to look at things of we shouldn't have this stuff. But I also am kind of fascinated by this stuff as well. Sure. And clearly, there's a behavior thing on ours that we want the stuff. And part of the problem is the system versus, the world is better with Patagonia in it. But there's these little things too, like PFAS. PFAS is another one. A lot of people I've seen on LinkedIn, just praising this brand, look at how they're leading. It's like, no, everybody's had the solution or known about PFAS for like a decade. Right. And nobody has done anything. And if you want proof on it, again, go look around. Fial Raven was talking about how they were ahead of the curve. And then there's consumers on commenting in the comment section why didn't you share your trade secrets with everybody else? There was no trade secrets. They just took the solutions that no one else was doing at the time, including Patagonia. But then Patagonia just gets lauded with you're leading on PFAS because they're doing something this year. It's no, you're doing something this year because everybody has to do something this year.
Well, you also have to realize that it's not like if you're applying for a job at Patagonia. I mean, they obviously probably sort of want you to have certain kinds of ideals, but I doubt that everybody does. They obviously have a giant group of people who are focused entirely on the money.
Yeah.
And how many of those people in the world are actually bleeding heart environmentalists?
And listen, I would work. I've spent, like I said, I spent a lot of time there. I'd take a job there tomorrow because they do, for the most part, practice what they preach. This one just felt a little too I'm a little high on my own supply. Let me tell you how great I am. We do it better. Just buy our stuff, and it's just getting a little close to that line of why don't you just continue to do all the right things and talk about how you're making it better.
I see what you mean. Yeah, I see what you mean. I saw a billboard, and I think it's probably associated with this campaign. It could, or this is the cool thing about Patagonia. It could also be 30 years old. Like, I don't know.
Right.
But it was a picture of like a toothless, or like a guy with like a big gap in his tooth who looked like he was 70, probably climbing somewhere, wearing Patagonia stuff, and the tagline was like built for years, not for seasons.
Right.
And like that's great, and that's probably a little bit more in line with like what you're sort of talking about, in terms of like how you're gonna like present yourself as a brand.
Look, this is a touchy subject. We need regulation on this. They need to say what you can and can't make anymore, and no one's going to stop making it, and we're not going to stop buying the stuff. You know, like Shein's a great example. I was talking to a friend who has a teenage daughter, and I'm like, just don't let her buy Shein stuff. And she's like, oh, I love Shein stuff. People don't know. They see what they want online.
That's very true. We're also very plugged in. Like, we are so much more plugged in than anybody else. So that's also really, really true. And also, I mean, there's a lot of people in this fucking world, dude. There's like 9 billion people almost. So like, they're going to be making more stuff. I mean, I don't know.
We produce 100 billion garments annually.
God, it's insane. I mean, really, like, but we know we're fucked at the end of the day, right? Like, I mean, that's the other thing is like, I don't like how much I have a tiny little bit of, I don't even know, acceptance. I'm just kind of tired of it. Like, Steve Casimiro and I talk about this all the time, where it's like, okay, am I going to get rid of my gas cars, and am I going to just walk everywhere? I'm going to churn my own butter. I mean, at a certain point, it's not like, my responsibility
I can't get the single-use bottle of water at the baseball game. It's the same thing, right? Where do you draw the line?
There's only so much you can do. And like, do I have Patagonia stuff? I have a few things. I don't have that much Patagonia stuff. I have like some shorts I like. I think a jack. It's all mountain bike stuff because they make, as far as I'm concerned, the best mountain bike stuff from the big brands. Oh, and the best sleeping bag I've ever had. That's Patagonia.
And by the way, again, I want to be fair, and like also, if that regulation comes, they're going to be the first one rushing to to adhere by it, right? They're going to stand behind it, absolutely. But when you're a leader, it should. I don't know. There was an inauthenticity to this campaign. That was like, there's a lack of acknowledgement of the amount of stuff they're actually making. Is more just like, don't worry about that. Just know that we make the best, and you should buy from us. You know,
very much your bugaboo. So Patagonia, from now on, you have to run these things through. You have to run these things through Colin. Okay, Colin's going to be. You actually probably should. Patagonia, honestly, if you're listening to this, you should probably hire me and Colin, but Colin is specifically, because this really is his like main thing, and he could tell you like, you know what, this is going to not ring true with certain sorts of people, even if it is true. Like you need to like reposition. I
can't tell if you're kidding or not.
I'm dead serious. I think you'd be really good at that. So.
I mean, this is going to be this is the topic of the industry as far as I'm concerned. Like for the next few years. I mean, it's just like because it is this sort of. I mean, it goes back. This is why I want to talk about the North Face and icebreaker thing. Like, why do we need a capsule collection with North Face and icebreaker? And if you're going to do it, it should be like objectively awesome.
Yeah.
Like I should be like, I don't care. Like that's so sick. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. It's but I like that we're talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, of course, like obviously I thought about it too. When I saw it, so it's definitely worth talking about.
All right, well, moving on. So we got a couple of headlines that I thought would be really funny to kind of talk about, and some ideas I had to go with them. So the first one was, there was a story this week, and if you haven't watched the video, you don't have to do it right now, but I'd watch it later. So there's a guy in New York. His name's Nick Parisi. He's a runner, and his photo from, I guess it was last year's New York City Marathon, was used in the rejection letter to 158,000 people who didn't get into the New York City Marathon. Literally, it was like an email, and it's like, sorry, but you didn't make it in, and he's there
with like a picture of. Why
he's
would
like standing there with like finger guns. Like he's like.
Really?
Yes. Yes. It's a video.
I mean, why would they have a picture at all, let alone something like that?
Or at least seek the guy out and make sure it's cool. Maybe use AI. There's an opportunity for AI to make up a fake person. But so the marathon organizers did recognize the issue, and then they came to like his weekly fun run that he does, or like run club that he goes to in Central Park, and apologized to him, and then offered him a spot in the 2024 race. So
they should have offered him way more than that.
Yeah, no kidding. My idea was like, let's make this a thing. I think I love it. Like the last runner of every race, you're like, oh, you're in last place. You're on our rejection letter next year.
I don't know. I just don't know why why is there a photo at all? Like you just
put a logo of the marathon.
That's it. Yeah. If even that. Dear
he's giving
Colin,
finger
true.
guns.
Sorry, we too many people. Maybe next year. Like, here's a picture of a guy. Was he in the New York Marathon?
Him, he's like, I'm like the most hated runner in New York City.
But like, was that picture from him in the marathon?
I think so.
Good Lord.
And it's
What a
also,
terrible
so if you just
decision.
went, because, they have like, the photographers on course, presumably, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're just trolling through photos that they all own, I
they
guess,
just
because
like
they
that
pay
one.
for it. And they're like, that one's good.
That's
Who's this guy?
amazing.
Nah, don't worry about it.
God, that's so weird.
All right, last one. So this week, it started off this past Saturday, April 20th, when you're going to be hanging out in San Francisco getting high. We talked about it at the beginning of the episode.
So
it was the
excited.
official kickoff of National Parks Week, where entrance to all national parks across the U.S. will be waived.
Entrance fees.
Entry
You should
fee.
say-
I can't. I missed the
you
word.
You cannot
Okay.
get in. Welcome National Park Week. Nobody gets in.
An important word that I omitted from the outline.
Yeah.
In case you've forgotten, because there are a handful of national parks that get most of the glory, there are over 400 national parks in the U.S., and if you have the time and you're within the proximity, it's a great week to go see one of them. But I don't know. I mean, I think, I like the idea of like we should change the whole reservation thing and not just have a reservation, but like an application process that proves you can handle the park to deal with crowding. Right. So it's like you have to like you have to apply to go. So if it's Acadia, you have to like show me you can like boil and crack a lobster. And I want a picture of your sea kayak.
I can't do that.
So
I
you
guess I
got to
could.
learn if you want to go to Acadia. Yosemite, we just closed. There's just too many people there. Like we're not, we're giving Yosemite a couple years off. You can't go to, or the Valley maybe. You can't.
You know what? I will say that the Yosemite does a pretty good job of for how many people visit it. Like if you like eliminate cars from the equation, it's totally fine. The only real issue, as you can imagine, it's a freaking canyon.
Right.
Is getting
and all these cars going in and out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like they do a pretty good even when I've been there in the summertime, you're like, okay, like it's crowded, but like it kind of works still. Well, Yosemite is such a magical place.
I think the Grand Canyon is the big one though, where like you are not allowed to go to the Grand Canyon unless you're going to hike at least a half a mile down into the canyon. Like, the idea of like if you just walk, if you can't fathom, it looks like a painting or a photograph when you just walk up to the South Rim, and it's incredible. But it's like it's like what is it? A 90-minute drive from Flagstaff? Just get in a car and be like, yeah. There it is, and then turn around and drive back. Like, no, you got to get down in that thing, even if it's just to get over the lip. And then all of a sudden, once you're just down in there, it's a whole other. You're like, whoa, this is freaking incredible.
Now I get it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, man. Well, we can wrap it up there. What's going on with you? Are you still writing?
Well, I'm working on River Otter weekend. Dude.
River Otter
That's
Fest.
kind of taking on the bulk of my. I got it starts pretty soon, so I kind of waited too long for the marketing. But I guess it sounds like Kona might be here, so that'll be fun. We'll
They're
see what
pivoting
they're
into pack rafts, I think is what it is. Kona pack rafts.
I think people would come to the River Otter Festival.
I would.
I'm gonna go down there and open a beer.
Yeah.
You know what? I never go to hang out at this little swimming hole down here. It's not really hot enough yet, but like I should do that.
All right, tell you what. Okay, next summer, if like Gear and Beer is really now become like an audience, we'll have a get together at your stream
At River Otter. That'd be
Just
awesome.
be like, we're gonna be here, and we
so
won't give
rad.
out your address or anything. But it'll be like, we'll be at this spot. Come hang out with the Gear and Beer crew.
That'd be so rad. Well, my neighbors who have relocated for like 9 months while their house gets renovated.
Yeah.
They rented an Airbnb right over the creek. It's the same creek that's like behind my house, but it's like a few blocks that way. But like, they're like, hey, when the water's lower, we've walked all the way over here before. I'm like, oh yes. Like I might even do that this afternoon. Just like throw on my wading boots and just like grab a beer and just like trudge down the river to because I know they'll be outside on their patio. They work
awesome.
from home. Just be like, what's up?
All right, well, the Rock Fight's a production of Rock Fight LLC. For Justin Hausman, I'm Colin True. Thank you for listening. And here to take us out, it's Krista Makes with the Rock Fight fight song, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Chris.
I love
I
that guy.
wonder how many podcast intros he's done.
Rock fight.